Yes, if you're thinking this, all the examples she's showing in the video next to her, it's all black people. So if you're asking yourself that, yes, you are correct. You're gonna see nothing but black people committing crimes. Thanks for watching Power to the Power. We are committed to an intellectual integrity and a moral honesty. I am your host, Superior, and thank you once again. Thank you for watching. Now, in this video, it it never brings me joy to see videos like this and then feel like I have the responsibility to explain why the people in this video are just straight garbage. I mean, just straight opportunist garbage and should not even have a platform. Like it feels like easy picking because it feels like people will understand what I'm talking about. But then at the same time, when I see this kind of video getting hundreds of thousands of views and likes, it brings me back to reality that we still live in a nation where people continue to either be racist and make money off of their racist and their bigotry, feelings, or people who will use these type of dog whistles and perform for these type of viewers who are also racist and act upon their bigotry. And there's one person, I don't think I spoken about this person on this channel, but when I seen her face, I was like, this is not going to go down well. And then the title of the video says, forecasting a thug spree in DC. I already knew this was going to be racist as hell. And I'm going to have to just break down something so simple. And I guarantee I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this from all the racist viewers and supporters of Fox News in my comment section. So I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and watch together what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Tommy, hit it.
You know, when D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says that something's a bad idea, you know it's a bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
This is about to be a thug spree in D.C. if it wasn't already bad enough. But, Judge, what I cannot figure out is the rationale behind this. Now, they like to talk about this criminal justice reform. This is not criminal justice reform. And the fact that they're able to repeatedly label acts like this criminal justice reform does a major disservice to those out there that are actually trying to reform criminal justice in a positive way. Now, the reason that they're saying that they had to have this new legislation, they need to reclassify all these felonies as misdemeanors, is because they need to modernize the code. I'm not quite sure, Judge, how allowing carjackers and violent criminals to have lesser punishment, less consequences, is going to modernize anything.
Okay. Let's go ahead and pause this right here because it's just a 3-minute video, but I guarantee it feels like a lifetime just hearing her incoherent, just nonsense. Okay. First off, yes, if you're thinking this, all the examples she's showing in the video next to her, it's all black people. So if you're asking yourself that, yes, you are correct. You're going to see nothing but black people committing crimes. Let's just already get that out in the air. Second off, who is subscribing to justice reform or prison reform or policing reform is saying that people who are committing violent acts with weapons need less sentencing? I don't know who is championing that. I don't agree to that. I think especially if you're committing a violent act with a deadly weapon, you need to go to prison. Whatever the case is, I'm pretty sure it varies, but you're not going to get a slap on the wrist and be like, all right, back to society you go. No, you need to face your consequences. And like I said, each one, faces a different sentencings. We understand that. But we also understand that when it comes to the reason why people are championing criminal justice reform is because we know historically, you already know what I'm going to say. You already know. Black and brown people have been disproportionately sentenced higher than white counterparts for the same crime committed. We know that for a fact. I don't need to waste time going through all the numbers. Look this up on Google. You will figure this out. I'm pretty sure you're watching this on a cellular device. Go do your due diligence and look this information up. Then come back to the video and say, Mr. Superior, I'm sorry for thinking you were incorrect on this. Look this up. Look this information up. So people who want justice and prison reform, they're not saying we want people who commit these violent crimes with violent weapons to be back on the streets with just a slap on the wrist. No one is saying that. So once again, only 58 seconds into the video, it's all bull. So this is what we're up against.
Other than allowing a criminal spree to be in that city. And unfortunately, this felon coddling, this has been a policy and a culture that is spreading nationwide. But of course, in D.C., we're going to see it get even worse.
Yeah, D.C. has certainly been on the decline since the pandemic. I mean, it is clear that the preference is for the criminal, not for the victim. That man who owned that car, he was a father, and he was an innocent victim who obviously didn't deserve what happened to him, but he's not considered by a lot of these prosecutors that we have in the country. And the so-called, social justice, nobody's defined it for me yet, but the concept is let everybody out of jail, things will be better. It's creating nothing but chaos in this country, Tommy. And I think that, what we've got to try to figure out is how we can change it. How do we change this?
Okay, so first off, if she doesn't understand, let me go ahead and switch this here. First off, if she doesn't understand what social justice looks like, maybe, you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure she gets paid more than me. So maybe she should take the time to figure out what that means instead of just implementing her own definition of something, which is let every violent criminal free. What? Is she supposed to be some sort of like formal judge or whatever, or some? Because she sounds ridiculous as hell. Like she's never read a book. Maybe she should spend less money on that fancy shirt that she's wearing and invest into some books, or at least someone who can educate her just a little bit before embarrassing herself on TV. I don't understand. Well, I kind of do understand what the whole point of this video right here is to fear-monger, to put fear into people's heads who obviously who take shows like this as gospel truth. And what do you think is going to happen? People in DC are going to be like, these black teens are on a carjacking spree. I need to protect myself, which everybody should. But here's the thing. They're going to now profile just about every young black person they see, well, just about any black person, young or old, as potential people who are going to rob them. You know why? Because Fox News, that in just embedded in their brain that these black people are just on a crime spree. And the justice system is helping them out, and they're not going to help you. They're not going to protect you. So that's, saying in between the lines, you're going to have to do something yourself. And what do you think is going to happen? Just like Aubrey, he was just running through his city, getting his jog in. And guess what? Some crazy white people thought he was, carjacking. I think it was carjacking. And they decided to take matters into their own hands, and they end up killing him. We're going to see more situations like that because of these two. These two people here are using their words irresponsibly just to scare people because, scaring people gets views. Scaring people puts money into their pockets. So they're going to continue to scare these uneducated white people who are watching their videos into being scared of any black person they encounter on the streets. Plain and simple.
Well, I'll tell you this, it's about winning over hearts and minds and explaining to them that this is not criminal justice reform. But I'm glad that you brought up the pandemic, Judge, because let's remember in D.C., you'd receive more punishment for not being masked and vaxxed than you are for carjacking. I mean,
right.
This is seen in their eyes as so much less of an offense. But I'll also say this, I think that there's a strategy behind this, because if you make every felony a misdemeanor and then you make every misdemeanor seem like it's a public service, then pretty soon it looks like you don't have a crime problem because you've simply redefined it and you've simply renamed it. I think that's the Democrat strategy here, but I think people are smarter than that. They know what's going on in their streets and their cities, or at least I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, I think so. I think people are smarter, and that's a great line. Make every misdemeanor a public service. Tomi Lahren.
Oh my. Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm just gonna say this. If you take anything of what those two say is serious, you are not a part of those educated people they're talking about. You are exactly the people who are making them rich and dumb enough to do something out on their behalf. You are exactly the problem. Educate yourself correctly. Don't go to people who are obviously opportunists, aka grifters, and take what they say is gospel. Point blank period. Once again, if you believe anything that they say, you are an extreme idiot, and you're exactly the problem.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to join the conversation by subscribing. Make sure to tune in next time, and like always, power to you, power to me, power to the people, power to the pod.